All right, let's get rolling here. There we go. Team White. Let's try d4 again. Okay, let's go with c4. Queen's Gambit. Declined or accepted? It's accepted. Let's make sure I get that pawn back. I don't think I need to grab him right away. Get him. Bishop here. I could play this. All right, let's scoop him up. So, what do we have? Or what might we have is a6, b5, or that. Let's get castled. I might want to, okay, yeah. We're going to have this. What's the move here? Queen e2. Oh no, I'm going to go with queen to e2. So my bishop could get kicked around. b5 bishop here. Yeah. He could get kicked around some more. I need to be prepared to. Okay, we're not going down that road. I was going to say I need to be prepared to get in this central expansion. So I think I should weaken this structure. Let's throw this in. If pushed, then I get the c4 square for my knight. I want to be cautious of this square. If b4, I pretty much don't want to touch this pawn because this knight will have a fast track to that square. Okay, so I don't think I need to grab him right just yet. I think my knight is going to be the one who's better suited to do just that. And let's see, knight here, rook here. I'm going to get my rook here behind that pawn. I don't think I need to do anything just yet. He's going nowhere. He's attacked twice, defended 0. And, okay, so there's pressure on this square now. All right, I see that. He's indirectly defended, however, and got some tricky stuff on h7. We're even on time. There's knight to c5, keep in mind. I have this isolated pawn, so these are the squares I'm looking to be jumping into. What do I do? Oh, what do I do with my bishop? I definitely play here. It comes with tempo. If bishop block, maybe I come here and be annoying. Place the knight in a pin. I gotta be on the lookout for some tricks on the h7 square. If this knight is no longer around on f7, there's some ideas for maybe taking on this square and knight g5 in some lines. This is a very active move. Yeah, a very active move. That move scares me. Like, I can't do this move. Or maybe I can't. Yeah, here takes, rook takes bishop. I'd have to invest 2 minor pieces in a rook to get a queen. This I didn't really consider. I should have, though. All right, let's back up. I think I could take this pawn. Yeah, why am I not taking that pawn? Maybe I could do that. No, I want to hang on to that pawn. This is a very active move, a very annoying move, placing it in my position on my side of the board. I don't like that. Neither should you. You should not like these moves either. They're annoying. Look at how inconvenient it is. Another thing is if I played bishop d2, black didn't have to react to the threat on the rook. Could have followed up with knight takes d4, knight takes, rook takes. So I needed some more support for this. Still, that you can't take on this square because at the end there's bishop takes here. So, if I do this, I'm dropping my knight, so let's not. I could win this pawn. What am I missing? Bishop takes, queen takes. Is something like this being lined up? That Bill Gates square. That Bill Gates square. What about rook c1? Why, hang on for a second, why not take a pawn? That's a big question. Do I have a good reason not to take that pawn? I mean, I might end up losing him. He's kind of, I don't like him here. Where's another? I'm going to take the pawn. I don't see a reason not to take the pawn. So let's take him. Is he a freebie? It doesn't feel like I'm up a full pawn, to be honest. It feels like I'm a little bit off balance in some way. I still need a flight square, but okay, so too does black. Knight, okay, yeah, we're looking for these sneak attacks. I'm gonna lose my dark square bishop, but I was fine with that. Well, I'm gonna have to be fine with that. Okay. I think if I take here, I'm just helping him out. So let's go here. Let's make sure I don't get mated on h2 one day. Now, if knight takes here, do I take with my queen or my pawn? Ooh, you know what I'm gonna have to take with? My pawn. My queen is so maybe that was a reason to first take on this square. Okay, my dark squares are clearly weak. Is rook here gonna be a pain? I'm gonna place this guy in a pin. And by this guy I mean the knight. Isn't that uncomfortable? It's gotta be uncomfortable. It's gotta be uncomfortable. It's just got to. Okay, there's bishop g3, and that's super inconvenient. What about push here, bishop f4? What about simply rook here, rook to c2? Is my queen going to get deflected from defense of the knight? I hope not. Playing hope chess all of a sudden. Okay, I have a flight square at least. So with this trade-off, even though I'm down my dark square bishop, two knights versus knight and bishop, they still have to solve maybe back rank issues. This is close to being super inconvenient. Yeah. Okay. I'm usually a fan of queen trades. I'm going to go for it. Let's throw another piece on that knight. Am I not winning material? I think this is a one game now. Let me just double check. Not in the chess sense, double check, but knight b6 and take here. That should do the trick. Just kicking away this rook. Rook b8, rook takes knight. Yeah, this is netting material. That got to be too much, this queen c7 move. It had a close eye on h2, but yeah, this is big trouble. Less than a minute, but I don't think there's going to be any issue time-wise. Still have to remain focused. Let's see. I don't want to get into the mindset of, oh, the time is just going to, well, not the time, but, oh, the position is going to collapse. I want to make sure I still follow through and make good moves. Again, I believe that I'm just winning material. Okay, I saw that there was this move. Like if rook takes, you take here first and only then recapture, but the idea here is that I could actually take because my knight's there to defend c2. And let's just take here, and you cannot avoid the rook exchange. I could always play there. So let's make sure my king gets off a dark square. King position. Let's not drop my knight. 41 seconds. Okay, he's going to play this one out. And, well, okay. I have enough pawns. I don't want to get into a position where it's, okay, let's go after, he has to go back now, otherwise I get him. I don't want to get into a position where I have two knights and there's no pawns on the board. So I'm going to play my pawn here, and with this will now come a great wall right here. All four of these squares are covered. If pawn push, I could do this. Yeah, let's do this right now, actually. I don't want to move him. I'm going to keep these guys sitting just to keep the king boxed out. Light square grip. Eventually, I'm going to reposition this guy somewhere so he does something more. Let's get king position. Where does my knight belong? Right here. And do some weaknesses. Knight here. Have him move and then come back here to d5 and strike at this point. Or that. Okay, so he's defending with the bishop. 27 seconds. I have another path though. Oh, another thing. I don't. This is a better position for the knight. He's watching over this. This is good enough. Is he gonna flinch that bishop? This isn't the most effective technique, I must say. Eventually, he's gonna have to do this. Well, then he's dropping that pawn. Now I'll push. Now that I have a much better king position. Now my king and pawn stop him. I guess you have to do this eventually. Now he's in a tough spot now. I can drop back. I'm on this point. Just want to kick the king back. Checking moves here. d6 or a5. Less than 10 for black. Let's go here. There should be some knight mate right around the corner. Yeah, there's some mate. There's definitely going to be some mate soon. And oh my goodness, for a second I thought I lost on time. That scared the life out of me. Oh my goodness. My heart definitely skipped a beat. When that popped up right there, I thought it was a sign that my clock dropped right there. Oh my goodness. Okay, they resigned right there with 1.8 seconds. That really did. I got a little scared right there. Okay. Yeah, I could have done anything. I was just trying to calculate some little mate there as a finish, but okay, let's go back here and look from your perspective, game history. Okay, from your perspective here, that's about this. Well, what do we have? Queen's Gambit accepted. I have with that now the central majority, which never really got working, but if you went for this structure, if black goes in this direction with c4, I back up. As soon as that's the big transition in this position. That's the potential that this position can have structure-wise with c4. As soon as c4 is in, it's officially a 3 versus 2 majority on the queen side, and now I have a free 2 versus 1 majority, so that's going to be my play. That's going to be my plan as a follow-up. But we don't get there because there's immediate capture, and now black is simply playing against this d4 pawn. What exactly went wrong? Bishop here. I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, we're starting to get into maybe move order nuances with bishop to b7, with knight to d7. I'm not sure what's best. I mean, is there a reason to keep some support on this? There might be some sacrifices right around the corner, like knight e5 here. Maybe there's a reason, in other words, to keep him, at least for the moment, still watching over this. My only other square that I might want to go to with as black, I wonder if there's also d6. It's a tough call. Okay, but bishop to e7. I didn't point it out, I don't think, during the game, but a natural move here is knight c3, but I didn't want to commit my knight just yet until, you see, I was already at this point anticipating b5. It's a common move. I've seen it before, so I have some experience with it. And I played queen to e2. It's developing. It's allowing rook to d1. And I didn't want to commit my knight to c3 because I wanted to have this possibility of going to d2 and then c4. Like I'm seeing after b5 in this exchange, I get to play this with my knight still on its home square. If b4 in this position, which I believe is the other move to really be considering, then it's not coming with tempo. I'm not having to, I have a central square to go to, but I wanted to have this idea where after a4, if you are not capturing and instead grabbing a little bit of space, watching over c3, I have a quick track to the c4 square, and maybe even one day there could be this clamping down move with a5, and then there's a pivot square on b6 for my knight. So I guess I was just rattling off a bunch of stuff right there. I guess in short, I want to make sure that when it comes time for this position, when my queen is, I want to play queen to e2 instead of knight to c3. I want to see how black reacts when I strike at it with a4. So b5 comes, a4 is happening, so he's still in his home square. I want to be able to play a4 with my knight still in his home square is what I'm getting at. I guess that's the shortest summary. Maybe they're shorter, but okay. I didn't reference that during the game, but it was a thought that was running through my mind. I didn't voice it aloud is what I meant. Okay, but in any case, he captured, so now I could freely come to that natural square. There's no need to grab with the rook. It's the knight who should be getting developed. This is the square he has in mind. The other knight has the e5 square. Castles here. This knight is maybe... I wonder if this knight move was where there's some issues. You see, if the knight is on d7 and they're connected, when my knight captures here, he'll be conveniently watching over c5 and b6. Maybe there's some adjustment with the queen knight's deployment. Maybe he's better on d7 instead of c6. I mean, as it turned out in the game, I mean, you're putting pressure on my pawn, but, well, this is much deeper, but he's the one who ended up having some issues. He's a loose piece. He's a loose piece. Maybe he's a bit more secure on d7. Maybe that's another way to look at it. So knight takes, rook here. I was kind of happy with this move, bishop f4, but you're getting super active with your rook. Bishop back, queen c7. Yeah, maybe you have to be super delicate with the queen position. This is tough for me. And you know, the other thing is that when you make this capture, maybe this is really the wrong choice. I wonder, because he is hit. He's getting absolutely hammered, right? I mean, it's already going to be difficult enough from the pressure along this diagonal, but now you have to contend with eventually a directly or indirectly pressure by the rook on a1. So he's going to be tough to defend. I mean, in the game he ended up being lost, but it's tough for me to say. I don't have a definitive answer or a way to really be certain how you can improve. I'm thinking the knight is maybe better on d7. It's a tough call for me, to be honest. Or maybe even knight to b5, come to think of it. Instead of rook to b8, how about this? Just playing against my isolated pawn, knight b4 to d5. Just throwing some different ideas out there. This got to be quite problematic, and I guess, okay, you're getting my bishop, but I guess you have your own problems as well with this file. I was constantly on the lookout for moves like rook to a8, but you never had control over that square. Otherwise, I could be in some trouble with my knight here. I don't know. I think it's just it's, well, not lost, but it's certainly very difficult for you. You pick up my bishop again, but now I have flight square, and you have to devote some time to creating flight square for your own, and the position has already opened up. It's difficult to devote a strictly defensive move in the form of flight square when the position is so opened. And I think we're beyond saving at this point, maybe even already a couple moves back. But yeah, that knight ended up being lost, and it's just game over, I think, already here. He's gone, and then, yeah, I think it's maybe important that this last detail, that I do have this resource to take and defend c2. Rook takes, rook is met with knight check first, and only then you recapture. I think white would still maybe be the better side because of this pass pawn, but it's certainly not as clear, of course. Not up the minor piece. But as it played out, I'm just up a piece and just make sure I convert it, push my pawn, keeping this position. Just a small pattern recognition, having the knight and pawn on the same color square. They are coordinated very well. And just moving forward like so. Scared me right there at the end with the resigning. I thought it was my time that fell. Okay. Good game. Structural defect. I have to maybe in some lines simply be content with losing my c4 pawn. The c4 pawn is weak because the square it sits on is weak.